episode of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. I'm Jonathan Howe. He's Travis Cunningham, and we are presented by Bicknell Racing Products and Oshweekend Speedway, your home for Friday night excitement all season long. Around these parts, Travis, episode 44. Do you have a 44 for me? Because I once again forgot to actually look up a number because we've been chit-chatting off the air.
I got two. I'm going to say one and then
Okay.
leave the other one for you. There's a couple more. Anyway, the number one for me, 44 around here, always flying Brian Stevens. We already had,
Yep.
we did like a special little thing on him back in the summer during the Brian Stevens Memorial. And yeah, Brian Stevens for me. Love that guy.
See, that's who I was going to go. Now I'm wondering, I'm like, so.
See, well, there's a
Is
really
it,
basic one. I was like Stuart
well,
Friesen, Dirt Mod. That's
yep.
his number. And then there's one around here in the Mod Lights.
In the Mod Lights. Who am I?
Mm-hmm. He just started getting rolling real good at the end of last
Oh,
year.
I'm going to mess up which Anderson is it. Ryan Anderson?
Correct.
See how much I remember. Okay, good.
So there's a 44.
I'm not in mid-season form, so I'm like, I haven't put them all together. Although,
So yeah, Brian Stevens, Stu Dog, Ryan Anderson.
And isn't, I don't know if he still is. I got to check this. Danny Worster 44 in the
Oh yeah, because he was Brian Stevens' crew guy back in the day. That's why he rolls that. Either that or 444 too. That was one of Brian's numbers as well.
For some reason, I'm picturing yes. Okay, Craig Vlasic 44. That's who I had.
There's the other one too. I think we got them all.
I think that's everybody.
Probably missing some older guys, but we got a lot.
That's who I was thinking of.
No one's mad.
Make sure I was like, because I was like, wait, did Craig run something else? I'm you know why I'm mixing Craig and I'm mixing Craig up with Leroy Buscombe, and Buscombe's the 71, I believe.
That's correct.
I've got that right. Oh. I'm like, this is like good preseason testing for Merrittville because I'm like, I'm trying to picture the driver rosters in my head right now. But anyways, we got our 44s, Craig Vlasic and Ryan Anderson, two local guys still rocking the 44. And of course, Stewie and Brian Stevens as well. Yeah, I saw. I checked. I just double checked it because I couldn't remember if it was him or Buscombe I was thinking of. But Vlasic did start one event last year at Merrittville in a 44. Yeah, so
deal.
We should probably get into Merrittville. Let's start with Merrittville because I had spent my morning there. I was at the track earlier than I think I've ever been at. I'm pretty sure I was at the track earlier than anybody has ever been, doing some promo work with 97.7 Hits FM. We had the first ever Merrittville crawl where we had contestants crawl on their hands and knees around the entire racetrack for $1,000. Shout out to Bella who won this morning. That was pretty cool stuff. She killed it, crushed it. And I think the event is going to return on Hits FM night in May or June because we have 2 dates that we're sponsoring. So watch for details on that, I guess, with Hits FM. But I'm sure lots of drivers have probably departed Merrittville Speedway at 3:30 in the morning, but very few have probably ever arrived that early. And that place is oddly kind of freaky in the middle of the morning like that.
Yeah, only competitors I could ever think of, like maybe someone on a tour race the next day showed up super early, towed from the night before. That's the only time someone would be in that time of night.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I would listen to the whole thing on the radio, and what was Bella, the girl that won? Like she just kind of was slow at the beginning, and then let the people run away and tire themselves out, and eventually passed everybody and won. Right, and that made me think of a bike race back on the go-kart track back in the day. It was Mike Dooley, the Candyman, versus Alan Johnson, Mr. AJ Slideways. And yeah, same thing. Mike Dooley took off, almost lapped AJ Slideways. It was a 3-lap race on the kart track, then gassed himself and slow and steady wins the race. Alan Johnson, just like he does in real life. I think he won the modified race that night too. But yeah, reeled him in and passed him coming out of 4 or something like that, and won that race same way too. So that's what that reminded me of. And it was just super cool that you guys did that at Merrittville. Got lots of exposure today on the radio and all that.
Yep. We're only a couple weeks away. April 22nd, Peters Construction Group presents the Spring Sizzler, which, of course, you're going to be a part of with the Southern Ontario Sprints. The Core Pack Merchandising 358 Modifieds are going to be racing in that one. Right Choice Auto and Leisure Sportsman, Hoosier Stocks, Van Sickle Pet Value, PV on the Lane, 4 Cylinders, as well in that one. No mod lights that night to get us started, but that's
Can't
okay.
wait.
Can't wait.
Let's
Oh,
go.
I'm so fired up. So we're gonna do I've got a game we can propose. So I want to do, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I want to get it out in the open now so we can start thinking about it so you can be prepared for it in a couple weeks. I want to do a class by class draft. So we each get a driver from one driver from each class, and we'll see who has the most points at the end of the year between our two teams. And we'll do it for the 5 classes at Maryville that are running for points championships. We'll do it for Oshweekend, and yeah, we'll see who wins the titles for each track.
Okay,
Sound good?
but it's got to start after the Spring Sizzler so we can have a sure about who's going to be running and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So we'll do it. We'll do it
Because the
where.
Spring Sizzler ain't for points anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they don't count that. So our season
No.
opener is the following weekend.
Yeah.
So looking
So yeah,
forward to that.
starting for season opener, I'm in. Because then you get you'll
Lots
be
to
able to
do.
see.
Lots to do. I got to get through all the sponsors, make sure the sponsor book is updated. I'm gonna update my own books. I got the word from Stephen Petty, who we're gonna have on the show, hopefully real soon, to tee up some Ransomville stuff. Because I'm gonna be heading over across the ditch to call some racing at Ransomville. He asked me to fill in a couple
The
dates
big
with him.
R.
I'm looking forward to my first time on the mic at the Big R, so that's gonna be a lot of fun later in the summer and sorting all those dates out. But it all starts with Merrittville. Some dates that we did find out this week. The dates for Humberstone Speedway. We've got ourselves a nice little schedule. I'll say for Humberstone. Not a full racing calendar, but it gets going with a little Sunday open practice on June 11th. Then the opening night the following Sunday, June 18th. Thunderstocks, Sportsman, Mini Stocks, Mod Lights, and the Vintage Cars. That will also be a Duel on the Dirt home track #1 event. The Sunday following Canada Day, we've got you racing in that one, Travis, with the Southern Ontario Sprints, Dirt
Yeah.
Car Sportsman Western Tour event as well. Action Sprint Tour headlining that one. They've also got a Enduro the following Sunday. Then we've got the All Canadian Championships on August 6th, Picasco Memorial August 20th, Labor Day Late Model Open September 3rd. And then we got some bike racing and the Fall Classic coming back for a Friday, Saturday night event, September 29th and 30th. So if you want to do some early fall, late summer camping at Humberstone, that's a good night, good pair of nights to go and do that. And the Eve of Destruction closes out the event calendar on October 14th. And by my count, you're not going to be joining me for too many racing events on the mic this year because you're going to be racing at a lot of these events at Humberstone.
Yeah. Only be able to call about 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, good thing you're there. Pick up the slack. But yeah, I'm pumped to get there. It's been one of my definitely my best track probably in the last 2-3 years. So always love going to Humberstone. Saw some people wishing it was a full season. I honestly wish it was a full season too, like it was back in the day. But this is what Terry can do right now, and hopefully, if this season goes good, all those people that I see saying that better be at the races that they do have,
Yep.
and yeah, support it, and hopefully we can get back to that because I think like they used to do it back in the day, like a sportsman, street stock, mini stock, and then sprinkle in another division. You could rotate a few divisions every now and then. As long as you have good food at the races, usually people will show up. So
Yep.
you've got keep some like that's the best part about back in the day when they would do it. Like when Pete Costco owned it, it was usually lower paying, or like like they was never modified, so you wouldn't have to worry about that bigger purse. It was always sportsman, street stock, mini stock. So then you could, because it is tougher to do on Sunday. There's no
Yep.
doubt about it. Sunday is a tougher day to pull off.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but I'm optimistic that they're going to have themselves a great year, and that we're going to be a part of that up in the booth and for yourself, even out on the racetrack. So that's going to be
Yeah,
a good time, and of course you're going to
we got
be
10 shows,
racing.
so
Yeah,
get out, support them.
well, you're going to be racing with the Southern Ontario Sprints, and they actually made
Yeah,
some news and some waves announcing some key members of the team. We got Michael Amy, who's going to be joining things. Worked on the Dylan Westbrook sprint car for a while, and now he's joined the SOS in a role. We got Tim Phillips coming on board as well as the tech inspector. Uh, and I'm gonna say it wrong one more time. I'm gonna try it. Tommy Gooch. Did I say it right that
Tommy
time?
Gooch.
There we
Yep.
go. Got it. Working on those pronunciations. Thanks for the patience, Tommy. And Dale Callan, also going to be on a part of this one, documenting everything via photography. Shout out to the new
Yeah,
faces of Southern Ontario Sprints. And I
I
did
know
see a
3 or 4 of
comment.
those guys pretty good.
Well, I did see a comment about potentially having a series announcer, and I know that I've talked to Peter about that. And for now, he's going to let the tracks that are uh, at each facility is going to have their own probably broadcast crew, and I'm sure some of the bigger races are going to be on G Force with Adam and Greg on the call.
Yep.
So I think that's the plan for this year for anybody who's wondering about that sort of stuff. And I, for one, totally fine with that because just as like we are not short on talent in terms of drivers in Southern Ontario and racers on dirt, we are also not shy on commentators. So uh, it, it's going to be awesome to hear the sprints have several different voices this year.
Yeah, I always like a variety in announcing. Yeah. Uh, who's just like series announcers that I knew back in the day? Like Mike Mallett, I knew him. He was ESS for a long time. Now he runs DTD TV. And
Hmm.
I know all our local guys. We're spoiled with announcers around here, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there was a nice little G-force meetup of announcers that I got to meet up from, and there's like a whole Facebook group that Stephen Petty added me to. So shout out to Stephen for that. And yeah, no, this is a great area for racing, and it's a great area for anybody who wants to get involved. And somewhere that's a great area for racing, but once again, struggling to have a date. Atomic, the Super Dirt Car Series, unfortunately had to cancel their scheduled appearance at Atomic Speedway due to the weather there. So, bummer for the Super Dirt Car Series. And you actually texted me about this, and you said that if they could ever just get the right date, that track's going to be put on one heck of a show.
Yeah, because it curbs up and the big blocks should be able to use their power. A lot of times it has some bite. It can get slicked off too. And yeah, just need to find a different weekend. Probably try not to schedule it in March next year, I'd say.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah, it's
definitely
hard,
hurts
and
when
we've
it
had
gets canned like
yeah,
that.
yeah, and we've had a long winter too. Like I don't, I don't really remember it being this cold into late March the way it was last, or way it is this year last year. So that definitely
Yeah,
is wreaking havoc throughout, eastern United States
that's the way it
and
goes.
even into the south.
Dirt
So
late models
uh,
haven't raced in a few weeks. Like all their stuff's getting rained or wetted
yeah.
out. And only stuff's been going to sprint cars, really. Couple
Well, this
modified
kind of leads
races.
into. Do you want me to drop my rant first, or do you want to? This kind of leads into your TC rant of the week, and it's rare that we both have a rant, but I think this particular week we've got some time before
You
Joel
first.
Dick joins the show. You want me
Yeah.
to go first? Okay, all right. So my rant, you talked to our pal Travis Miller, the Thriller,
Yep.
the Dragon Slayer, as Joe Donahue has started calling him during our
Oh, he's
broadcasts.
gonna hate that.
Well, that's the kind of the
No.
joke. He said it in the Discord, and it's gonna live
Oh,
forever.
he
Sorry, buddy.
got a cutout on the Dragon Slayer.
Anyways, the Thriller, Travis Miller.
That's better.
Uh, he was bugging you up saying that we've been talking too much NASCAR on the Dirt Show, and that is not what my rant is about. Shockingly, that's fine if we're talking too much NASCAR, but I do have a NASCAR tied in dirt racing rant, and it is the appropriation of dirt car culture. I don't know if you've noticed, like, obviously, there are plenty of guys who double down and dip their toes into the dirt racing world who are racing in various series in NASCAR, especially in the Cup Series. But I don't know if you've noticed, but merchandise, they are marketing and appealing to the dirt world in NASCAR. I saw this week brand new merch for Alex Bowman, which has more to do with his actual sprint car stuff. Uh,
Kyle
and I
Larson,
saw a
same,
shirt.
has all his dirt cars on his.
Yes. I hope you. I didn't know if you saw that or not too, but I
Yep.
literally was like, Hendrick Motorsports is selling a Kyle Larson 5 shirt that has his cup car, his late model, and his sprint car on it. When would that ever have happened in the past? No, can you imagine, if I don't even know. I don't even know what driver you could pick, like where somebody would market it that way, where the cup car isn't the only feature on the t-shirt. Stop appropriating dirt dirt culture and the style of t-shirts and all that. Stick to what you guys do. Keep the NASCAR classic style in play or something like that.
Ooh,
Leave the dirt stuff to the guys who are actually trying to sell t-shirts to
you
make
want
a
to know
living
why
and
they're
support
doing that
themselves
though?
because it sells. Because
Exactly,
dirt
because the
people
dirt
buy their
world, I would
stuff.
say, has their stuff together a lot more than NASCAR right now. Like, and over even the past decade, like NASCAR
Mhm.
peaked in that mid 2000s era,
Yep.
and ever since then,
Yep.
like the dirt car has taken, in my opinion, taken over its place. Like dirt racing is more popular than NASCAR. If you ask me, I don't even
It's
think it's
just more
close.
it's more accessible, right?
Yeah,
You know, we talk about how inaccessible Formula One and like some of these international racing series are. Well, if you're coming from like a small town or you don't have like a crazy budget to go to a big stock car event, you can find a small speedway where it's $20 to get in or $25 to get in or $30 to get in and go and watch some very talented drivers race World of Outlaws. You can see them go and race Super Dirt Car Series. There's tons of great
Lucas
racing
Oil
throughout
late models,
the
World of
United
Outlaw
States.
late models,
Yes,
UMP
XR.
modifieds, so, XR. Yeah, Summit. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy right now how much great racing is in the dirt world, and NASCAR needs to get its grubby fingers off the style because
Yeah.
that stuff should stay exclusive to the guys who, like I say, are trying to come up with loud, crazy T-shirts to sell and support their own racing careers.
Yep.
Rant over. Was that a good one?
Yeah, like it. You
Were you
leave it
expecting
for the
that one?
dirt guys for that.
Yeah, right.
We know the dirt cars
Uh,
sell better than the NASCARs. Leave them off your shirts. I feel it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got a rant of your own though, and it is connected to weather. So let's put a
Yep.
cork in you now, or let's put a quarter in you, I should say.
Yep. This one just centers around central Pennsylvania sprint car scene last weekend. So, central Pennsylvania sprint cars is usually. So, last weekend was Williams Grove Friday night. Uh, and then Saturday night, you could have went to either Port Royal or Lincoln. And then Sunday night was at BAPS, used to be Susquehanna. So, anyway, Friday night, Lincoln or Williams Grove cancels later on in the day. It was kind of like a day where you're going to get the rain, and they were holding it out, trying to get it, maybe hoping a prayer to get it in, but then they canceled late, and fans jumped on Twitter and said how they waited too long. It was obvious people were going to cancel. They can't, or and then some people were saying how they canceled too early and they should have tried. And so anyway, they didn't win. So then the next day was awesome because it was Port Royal who they canceled early. Thought it was going to be cold and rainy. Just decided to give their teams the week off. So they cancel early. Lincoln goes with the other way. And then the fans jumped on Port Royal for canceling too early on Twitter. So then they didn't win. They made that call. So then Lincoln decides to race, and then they do get it in. But just because it was cold and rainy all day, sure enough, the track was pretty heavy. Didn't widen out all night. It was literally a lane and a bit on the bottom, and super tacky. And cars were biking up because they didn't get them loose enough. And it took 6 attempts to get the first lap in. And it was one of those nights where it was just a little bit of a crash fest. And then, sure enough, they raced. And then the people on Twitter say they should have canceled. So, and then the next day at BAPS, the track conditions weren't the best. It laid rubber and burned tires up, and the fans were all over that. And there was a controversy with flat tires, and they wouldn't let the Dietrichs change their tires. So, yeah, lots of Twitter in the central Pennsylvania. A lot of it can be negative, and that's always the part that sucks. And then that just shows like the promoters how like the race fans you can't win on a day where it's like super iffy. Where they'll complain if you cancel early, they'll complain if you try to
Yeah.
run and get it in and get rained out. They'll complain pretty much about anything on those days. So if you're a race fan those days, don't murder the track. They'll always put it up on their social medias. Like, don't call the place, don't message them on social media. Like, they always put it up. Just let them be. Those are the world's worst days for racers and promoters. So just let them be. You'll sure enough know if they're going or racing, and try to be easy on the call because that's the hardest call in racing. And yeah, perfect example of it last weekend in Central PA.
Nice. That was a great point too for us because you never know. Starting as early as Maryville is going to start this year, you never know what kind of weather we're going to get in April. Even if it's clear skies, it might only be 6 or 7 degrees. I hope not. I'm hoping by the time the spring sizzler rolls around, we're going to get a
As long as
nice
it's
like
sunny, we're
12
going.
degree
I'm
night,
pretty sure.
maybe 15-degree night. Yeah, right. So, but I don't want to hear race fans being like, "It's too cold. I don't want to come out." No, this is the start of the season. This is one of the
The
biggest
real
shows of
fans
the
will be
year.
there. That's for
You
sure.
better be there. Yeah, exactly. I want to see that place packed for
It
opening
should
week,
be pretty.
and
That's the best part
yeah,
about
I want
like
to see some
the also
patient
thing
race
like
fans.
going back to
Good luck with
Atomic.
that.
Like if you do have it on the schedule, you can cancel. If you don't have it on, it's almost impossible to mix a race up. So, and that first Merrittville race around here is a perfect
Yeah.
example. If it's going to be a crappy day, they usually cancel it early or even the day before. It's happened before, and then yeah, that's not the year before. But on the days where
Yep.
they do get a wicked day, last year was one of them. It usually does bring out quite a bit of
Mm-hmm.
fans and all the cars. Like there's usually those are the times because Quebec and Brockville area ain't open yet, so you'll get a couple extra mods if you get a good day on those first few weeks, and
Yep.
that's why you do it. Those are the if you get a good day, those are the money makers. Days like that, because people are
For sure.
jonesing.
No, it's gonna be a
I'm
blast. Can't
jonesing to go
wait for the
racing.
Spring Sizzler.
Let's go.
Yes, I'm
You were
jonesing.
racing today.
I
Yeah,
spent the
you were
entire
racing
morning at
today.
the racetrack. Yeah. I went up to the flag stand for the first time ever. I've never been up to the Maryville flag stand. I don't know why. It just took me so long, but I got up there. That is just terrifying. I can't imagine being up there and having race cars thundering by and shaking the entire tower.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild.
Lots of videos. If you want to be gruesome on YouTube, if flag stands getting hit, it's happened before. Definitely a dangerous spot, and yeah, shout out
Uh,
to all the flagmen out there
yeah.
because
Yeah, you guys are the underrated badasses
yep,
of dirt
I
racing
agree.
community, I would say. The flagmen. All right. Well, we've covered, I think, everything we want to get into, Travis. So why don't we bring in our guest from the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway? That's where he calls his track home. Why don't we bring in Joel Dick now? The Southern Ontario Dirt Show is brought to you by Ohsweken Speedway, Southern Ontario's home for Friday night excitement. For over 25 years, Ohsweken Speedway has promoted and played host to sprint car racing with a new season of family-friendly events on the horizon and set to begin May 19th. Catch our own Travis Cunningham as he races weekly in the 360 division each Friday night in pursuit of a season-long championship. The Friday night lineups are rounded out by crate sprints, thunderstocks, and mini-stock divisions as well. In addition to weekly racing, Ohsweken Speedway will also hold several marquee events for the Southern Ontario Sprints, the Action Sprint Tour in their West Series and National Series, as well as a visit from Canada's premier stock car series, the NASCAR Pinty Series on August 14th and 15th for their only stop on dirt. Mark your calendars as the 3/8 mile dirt track located in Ohsweken, Ontario welcomes drivers from across the country and beyond for the 19th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, which is scheduled for September 16th. To keep up to date with the latest news from the track, be sure to find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For track information on policies, admissions, directions, and more, be sure to visit ohswekenspeedway.ca. That's OHSWEKEN Speedway.ca. Ohsweken Speedway, your home for Friday night excitement. The Southern Ontario Dirt Show is brought to you by Bicknell Racing Products. The last 40 years plus have seen Bicknell Racing Products grow to be an industry leader for racers and enthusiasts alike. Their St. Catharines location is home to 20,000 square feet of manufacturing and retail space, with a second store in Niagara Falls, New York, and a dealer network that continues to grow day by day to serve Southern Ontario, Western New York, and beyond. Bicknell Racing Products distributes Hoosier tires for much of Eastern Canada, New York, and even parts of Pennsylvania. BRP has everything you could need to keep your car performing at its peak with genuine parts from the manufacturer. They even have a technical support line committed to helping you with the most up-to-date information and feedback from racers and crew chiefs. Have you ever thought about a career in the automotive or racing industry? Now is your chance to take the leap with Bicknell Racing Products. They are looking for CNC machine operators, welders, and more to join their team this season. Please send all resumes to Dana Curving at BicknellRacingProducts.com. That's DANACURVIN at BicknellRacingProducts.com. For further information on Bicknell Racing Products and to find a dealer near you, visit BRP online at www.BicknellRacingProducts.com or on Facebook or at twitter.com/BicknellRacing. We are live on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast with Joel Dick, who's got the Julian drink, as Travis just said, to start us off. Joel, this is awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have somebody representing the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. How you been, and how's the off season been treating you?
Well, thanks for having me. First and foremost, guys. Yeah, things are pretty good right now. We're just getting the car ready right now. Everything in the shop's going pretty good, as far as we know. It's just we got a lot of new stuff coming on this year that we're going to be testing, and looking forward to testing more than anything right now. So you think you're going to build something that might be a little quicker, and you get out and test, and you realize that you're just completely off base, and we go back to our baseline a lot, but we'll see what we came up with this winter, if it works or not.
So, guessing that your UMP mod, I'm guessing something in the suspension you're playing with to probably try to get around the new Southern Ontario Motor Speedway uh, layout, or
Well, we're always playing with stuff, and it's more something to kind of get us on the road too a little bit. Like we do travel to the states, so it's just something that we can kind of get from big half miles to like Southern Ontario Motor Speedway is. It does carry some speed, which is
mm,
nice depending on the night. But it can get technical at times where you will get a little bit of a, you got to hit your marks correctly to get in and get on the brown and get it done. So, um, yeah, we're working on a few different combos and different things. We're looking forward to that. And guys, we got an 8-inch tire in our car, so it's that 8-inch tire. I mean, it doesn't hold up the best in the slickest of conditions. Let's just say that.
Yeah, fair enough. Travis touched on the kind of new and improved Ontario Motor Speedway. Just from your experience with the track and it being kind of like one of your home facilities, just talk to maybe the casual fan who's not familiar with the track and the surface and how things have changed around there in the last 2 to 3, 4 years.
Um, I'd say all in all, as a fan experience, the lighting number one is like amazing right now. I mean, our you can see every ounce of that racetrack, like no problem. And we haven't had that in the past. Like, I mean, I'd haul the mail off into one sometimes and just be like, come on, baby, let's stick up here. So, and right now with the lighting, it's been a lot better. And I think for a fan experience with LEDs there, uh, that can be pretty good. As far as getting over to the grandstand side, I mean, I obviously don't go over there that much, so I can't attest to that. But I know just from our vantage point, and from what other people have told me from being over there, it's been a really good experience.
so you obviously raced on the old configuration.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
so talk about the differences just in
Oh,
driving. Not no
man,
like just from the track standpoint. It's so
yeah,
different. Like to
that old
me,
one.
like the
Yep.
old one would have been perfect if it was like Oshweek wide. Like the
Yeah.
shape of it was so cool, but it was narrow. So yeah, tell us
It
the
was.
difference.
I mean, and that was a problem. Like it was a D, which is common in a lot of tracks in the States, but that's from natural progression of
Yeah.
the outside, and it's like now it was so narrow before where you come out of two and you'd get a big run on a guy and all of a sudden it's like, whoop, all of a sudden the lane just changes and it's like, no, he's right there and you can't do it. So
Mm.
that kind of sucked a lot. And now it's being as wider as it is, it's gotten a lot better. And it would be nice if it was like a bit more like progressively banked, as I would say. That would help it a little bit, but we get some nights out there where it's pretty badass.
Yeah, for me the biggest thing when I raced there in 2021 was like the transition to the back straightaway seems like it's the most banked out of the whole track.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that is just
yeah,
so weird.
it's
Like yeah.
yeah. So it's right now like it's yeah. When you come out of two, it's like if you get any kind of bump or anything that upsets a race car a little bit, like you got to be really aware because the guy might just have like a decent car underneath you or something, but he's going to get that drive and carry it down there. But it's like your car loads up so differently because the straightaway is so banked.
Mhm.
So it is odd. Like it's very if you can just carry that momentum through the top and there's no bump out of two, I mean you're still carrying momentum and that's all you're gonna do. Like that's the best thing you can do, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it is different. I've bottom fed there some too, and where we've had great runs, but then you got to watch that transition getting into three, and how you can carry that momentum forward. And that's where it gets technical. And I've won races doing that. That gets really technical. And that depends how much, if we've had rain during the week, if there's, if it's muddy down at the bottom, like how that's all going to work. So, yeah, so many variables, but it's shaping up pretty good.
In the sprint car, like going down the back chute, like going slow, we had
Yeah.
to go like quarter lock or quarter turn to the right to even go straight just because it was
Yeah.
so
Oh,
pushing
for
us.
sure, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. No, that is
Yeah.
just wild. Yeah. What'd you think about it like when you were like racing it yourself though?
The night we were there, the track was pretty good. It was slick.
Yep.
Uh, and then, but the year we were there, it didn't have the infield wall yet. So
Oh,
the
okay.
feature guys started kind of running into the infield and made it dirty, so then we couldn't move around. But the heats had 2 lanes, but
Yeah.
it was pretty good. And like I had fun. I had like because Oshweekend was closing. That was my first like gasser up in 2 years where you could wide open it in hot laps and stuff. So that
Yeah.
definitely felt real awesome. It's definitely got lots of potential there. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I think the wall helps just for that fact because I mean I've run on the bottom before we had nothing there. I mean, I'm kicking up dust, I'm making it dirty, but I mean it was so rough up top, I didn't care. I'm like, well, I got no boundary here, so I don't know where the racetrack is or isn't now, so I'm gonna go where no one else is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a unique facility, and it's one that's on my bucket list to get to this year for sure. Because I haven't had a
Awesome.
chance to get out that way and watch you guys. And for you, in the UMP mod versus what we might be more familiar, what we see a lot more of down in the Niagara region, being I think what did Ken Schrader call it, the
Center
center
steer
steer
mod.
mod.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
just talk to us about the difference between those two types of race cars and why you find yourself in a UMP mod.
Well, I think the UMP mod down here, just because it was close to home, I'm in Leamington, and it was close to home, and the opportunity to go to the States, that we had before. So to go to Eldora or go to tracks in Michigan, it was super close by, so that was huge. And that's what was running here, right, at the time, and well, still. So that's why we got into it. It was, you know, probably, I'm not much of a late model guy, to be honest. I love watching them. I do enjoy them. But I'm the no fenders kind of guy, I think. And, I have a background in flat tracking and different things. And the mods just I really seem to enjoy them. I'd love to jump in a center steer mod sometime.
That's awesome.
It's the
Just take
big
us.
tires. Like, to feel that
Yeah.
traction would be kind of cool. And, I think the rear ends and nose are they're similar to ours, but
Quick
obviously
change.
the front
Yeah.
ends are completely different. Like,
Yeah.
they are 4 link, I believe, right?
Nope.
So, oh
You're
no?
for no. There's still like 3 link on coils with like torque arms going up the middle.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
But you got
Drive
the big.
shaft through your legs.
Yeah, that's kind of cool though. I mean, that's pretty neat. Yeah,
They're
that'd be
real
super
fun
cool.
to drive because I drove those before too. So yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a
they're
ball.
it's
Because
kind of
That's
like
really
wingless
what
sprint
people,
car but with downforce. It's
yeah,
kind of
and what
similar.
people don't get is that when you get a UMP car, is the lack of traction. Like it is so, like you're so on edge. And hold on, race coming on.
no
There we go.
worries.
Yeah, it's so on edge. Sometimes, I mean, you can just be wailing on a thing and life's good and you're preserving tire and all of a sudden it starts to fade a little bit. It's like you are seeking the entire time for traction out there in those cars. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're driving, big or not, big tire or not, like it's still, no matter what, you want to get to the traction. Let's
Mhm.
be serious, but it's a different deal. I'd love to get in something that I could feel a little bit more. But traction, I don't know if I'd abuse it though. So that's the thing. I might.
Sounds like you need to try a crate sprint or something.
Yeah, oh man, that'd be a riot. That'd
Yeah,
be that'd be a ball. Yeah, absolutely. If
Yeah,
anyone
that'd
out
be
there's
fun.
watching, I'm willing to wheel it.
listening.
Yeah,
Listening,
listening and
sorry,
watching.
yes,
Yeah,
listen. Yep,
yeah, we can find you something. I think you meet the right you meet enough people. You go and visit with the Crate Sprint guys when they come and
yep,
visit. You'll
absolutely.
you'll find your way. I'm sure somebody needs somebody to jump in sometime.
Oh,
But you mentioned a little bit about your background and the flat track stuff. So just talk to us about how you got started in racing.
so I started out, I basically started out like we had a church right beside us. It was a gravel, like a really tight quarter-inch gravel, um, around a small church. So I got a little Honda 50, and I just started pulling laps and wanted to try and keep up with my brother in the 80, and I just started turning left, and I was something about it just had me intrigued. Like I want to get faster, I want to get better, I want to get better. And then growing up, didn't really do much. And then all of a sudden, opportunity came out to go flat track on the four wheelers, and we had a unlimited class for the ATVs. Well, a guy seen me at Leamington, half mile, and said, "Why don't you try out a bike?" So I'm like, "Well, let's do that," because I rode bikes, and I'm like, "Let's go." So did a bunch of races in that, and then I realized with age comes a cage. So I went down that road kind of. But before we got into the stock car deal, we went to go karts. So the 6.5 class was a class I got into because we had a pretty decent track here in Leamington. And we got a Ron Fellows series that comes down here, and like it's a good road course. So I got into that. The 6.5 class taught me a lot, like over, say, a Yamaha class or shifter cart class, because it was just, you had to be perfect because you couldn't screw up. And it was a chess match. Like drafting was key. Everything was 6.5 because you didn't have the power to overcome. Where the shifter carts and road taxes teach you more about braking and your brake zones as well. So they all have their moments for teaching you how to drive better and be better, and capabilities of whatever four wheels you're sitting on or under or whatever. So uh, I did that, and then I decided to get into. I'm like, I got to get back into dirt. Like dirt is my thing. Like I love dirt, and growing up on a farm, and my dad's a farmer here, and I'm just a dirt guy, so I bought a piece of crap street stock and got out there the first night, and they said green. I remember in my ear, and I'm like, well, no one's going. And I'm like, I hit the gas, and I'm like, well, I'm passing these guys. I shouldn't be passing them, right? Like too much respect for them right away. And I'm like, no, you got to get your ass moving here a little bit. And we got moving, and we did pretty good. I think we started dead last. I'd raced 4 times, and we got up to fifth, maybe that championship night. Didn't know what we were doing. Had a friend, Justin Coulter, help me out, and just basically, here's stagger. You're not turning enough. We'll get you a little bit more. That's it. Go have fun. Just drive this thing. And then I knew I wanted to get the modifieds then right after that.
Nice.
Yeah, you're talking about traveling a bit. Like, give us some ideas of like what a trip would be for you. Like you said, you've been to Eldora.
Yeah, we've won at
Oh,
Eldora.
tell us about that. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean that place has been pretty special to us. So we can get there in like 3.5 hours from home.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's another place that always on my bucket list to win it, and we did it. Winning there, getting on that stage is like it's surreal. You don't even know it till it's done. And I mean, every night there, like these guys, you can't give an inch. I mean, they will take a mile, and that's how you got to race them too, and you got to do that. So
Yeah.
it's a phenomenal place to be, and just yeah, that track changes a lot too, and it's changed a lot. Like from the different surfaces, the banking, everything like that. Like it's changed a ton. So year to year, when you go there, you don't know what you're getting into right away, and yeah, you're flat footing it, and hot laps, and maybe qualifying, and then you get to your heat race. I mean, you better be ready because you can't lose 3 or 4 tenths of them big dogs there because they're going to hand it to you fast. So you want to trying to stay ahead of the track all the time there. And track position is so key. So, and they do some goofy stuff with inverts sometimes and whatnot, but for the most part, it's pretty darn fair where you're going to start. So that's kind of cool.
Man, he's won at Eldora.
Is that the first guy?
No,
Nope.
D-Dubs.
Oh,
We had
yeah,
Westbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. So, second person that we've had is who's an Eldora winner on the show. That's pretty
I
awesome.
think
Pretty
we were the
unique.
first one to win there, though.
For you, for like your class?
Yeah, I think we might have been. I don't know what year that. What year was? You know what year that was?
D-Dubs won last year, yeah. So
Yeah, we won in 17.
So technically, you were the first two to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
First two do it, second guest.
Yeah, awesome.
So traveling from Canada, I like asking, a lot of our local guys. There's not as much, I don't want to say rivalry or tension coming down from our area because they're just so used to the Bicknell cars, that sort of stuff being over in Western New York and Pennsylvania and stuff. But as far as, your travel schedule, do you feel any animosity? Do you feel like an invader when you go down there as someone from north of the border, or do you kind of feel like just one of the gang?
No, you're one of the gang when you go. Like, realistically, we show up, guys. Like, first time at Limaland, I'll never forget it, or even Hartford. First time both those tracks, they come up to you right away. Track promoter comes up. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you here. Wow, you traveled so far. I'm like, how the heck does this guy even know who I am pulling in here? And I'm like, and they know who you are almost, and it's like, thank you again, and love to have you back. Is there anything else you need from the facility? Let us know, and they're more than willing to help. And you play it off sometimes when you get to a new track. Like first time at Lime, I'm asking certain guys there that I've heard of, and that, oh, what gear should I run? I'm just a rookie at this, and they give you a little too much information sometimes when they're talking. That guy
Poker
shuts
player.
down really fast. So, yeah, like real fast.
Yeah.
So we had some drinks over that when we meet him that night. So it was that was kind of funny that he's giving me all the right stuff to do it, and we pull it off. So it's kind of funny.
So you've won at Lima too?
Well, that night we were third. Sorry, the first
Okay,
night
yeah.
we were third. So we didn't win. We were third, but we beat Tony Anderson, and he's helped me out the whole night.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of comical. Waynesfield's another track that's open this year. We're gonna hit that up. It's close as well, so we'll be hitting that. It's in the middle of nowhere, middle of a cornfield. It's just
Yeah. Field of
it's
Dreams meets racing, I heard.
got
Basically.
it. It's
Yeah.
a kind of a cool. It's kind of a cool thing. It's a little boring, but it's high banked. It can tend to bottom feed at the end of the night just because they do have a flatter line at the bottom where the transition is. In the mud and the moisture, it gets worked in, and then guys will shoot it up the track, and you're like, ah. And when you get to the really, really top side, it's just a long way. So if you gear for it and that's what you're planning for, you got to stick to it.
Nice.
That's wicked. So, do you have a favorite place that I got two here? So, favorite place you've won at so far, and a place that is on the list to just get to and race that you haven't had a chance to race at yet.
Yeah, I mean, favorite place I've won probably Eldora, but now my favorite win, was my first win at Buxton.
Okay.
That's my favorite win. Although Eldora was special. Obviously, it's
Mhm.
Eldora.
Yep.
Who the hell, like, you get on stage there, man? It's cool, but no, my first win, I remember that more probably than my Eldora win because it was, the emotions you're going through. Like, we did it. We're trying hard. Like, I care. I'm not just out there to spin laps. Oh, we want to race. No, like there's heart and passion and soul into it, and when you get it done, it's that first one was just like, wow, okay, I can do it. It's like I can do this, and we had some good cars before we won, and then we didn't get there, and now I'm like, no, we're gonna win some more, and we did. And that one I think was my favorite place though. Yes, Eldora. So that's a different spin on it,
Yeah.
but that's how it go. One track we haven't been to that we do want to go to is Fairbury,
Yeah.
Okay.
Illinois.
All right.
Oh man, that thing's just a banger of
Yeah.
a track. That track is phenomenal. Like, talk about a track that is set up to lend a bottom feeder to a guy just ripping his quarter panels off on the top side, and switching lines is maybe as your car changes throughout the feature. Like, you can't beat
No,
that
yeah.
place.
3
Like,
lines all the
it's
time.
just
Yeah.
and up on the wheel. That's it. That's we're trying this year to
That'd
go.
be sweet.
Yeah,
And
that's
your type of
one.
race car, it
Yeah.
feels like that would suit that place, especially because of the way that you have to move around in one of those things, like you mentioned, for
Oh
traction.
yeah, that's what mod racing there is big. I'm telling you, like, there are modified fans from guys I've talked to that go there that say like the mod features sometimes just there's nothing like them because of our tire fall off and different things and how guys will bang the boards down just getting to it. And there's certain usual suspects obviously that are always run up top or always run the bottom, but then it changes and you'll get features at like 3 in a row that it's you're within a car
Yeah.
length. You're right there. You're in the same picture as other guy when you're crossing the finish line, and you can't beat that. That's just
Yeah.
awesome. I hate that. You'd love to win by a mile, but I think it's cool to watch. That's just
Hey, if you're
Yeah.
on
awesome.
the right side of a photo finish, that's a moment in time. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. My last one. So we've talked about every track but the ones around here. I know you've won at Merrittville. I'm pretty sure you've been to Ushweekend for
Yes.
sure. I'm not. Have you been to Humberstone?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
So
Nope.
Merrittville and
We
Ushweekend.
love us. We're going to Schwiegen this year. We got one date, I believe. We got one date scheduled. We got one date scheduled this year. For sure. I'd love if Glenn put more on. We love that place. Like, we appreciate the facilities there and everything when we go. It's typically when Schrader's down. So I always lie to him on what year to run because he calls me before, but now he's got it figured out. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But it's that it races good, and it was we had bad luck there last year, but we won, I think two features there that we've been in. And we go once a year. And it's either we win or just have just stupid
I think
bad
Schrader
luck.
beat you one night, I think.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I was pushing. I blamed it on a shock mount, but I just
Blamed it.
I got to give the old guy some. Yeah. So he did that car. He came back the next year and he's like, and his guy is telling me, he's like, that is the most like popular DVD he pops in all the time going down the road was that race. Yeah, he loves it. So that's pretty cool. And it's awesome, right? Because it's in Ontario and this is home, and that's fantastic. And then Merrittville, we went up there last year for the first time. We won that deal. That was pretty cool. That was technical. I like that. That was technical. It wasn't super fast or anything, but it was like, again, I mean, the bigger tire stuff can get around there and haul the mail, I'm sure, but we couldn't like early on. But they did a great job prepping for us, and it was super good because they left some moisture in there for us, so that was nice. And then we did Brighton as well. We won. I think we did our qualifying night. We were good. We were fast time and everything. And then the second night there, we got took out by a lap car, and that just really sucked because we had a really fast piece. And that car actually got wrecked before, and I put it took it down south, got it on a jig, and that car came back better than what it started with. I hated the car, and I was going to get rid of it, and then we kept it, and I loved it. Now she's junk. So, yeah.
Always the case.
Yep.
Eventually, the favorite cars end up junked,
Absolutely.
right? All right. Well, we'll get you out of here on this one. This is one we ask all of our guests who come on the show. I'm going to give you one race car, one racetrack to race at for the rest of your life. Anything, unlimited budget. It doesn't matter if you have experience in it or not. It's just something you want to drive one time around one particular racetrack.
I'll email you back next week and give you that answer.
Oh, come on. You don't got anything right off the top?
All right, okay, hold on. I'd say, wow, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to say dirt modified. That's just what I'm comfortable in. This answer could change the more stuff I've got into, though. As of right now, this day, we're going to say a UMP dirt car, and I'm going to go with a track I've never been to, Fairbury.
Nice. Go with that.
Just because
I like that.
Yep.
I like that. It's a good pick.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time out tonight, Joel. It's been a blast learning about you and learning a little bit more about the UMPs and Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Yeah. And I can't wait to get out there myself and check it out in action. So this is going to be a great summer for it. Good luck traveling.
Stop by the holler.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do.
Yep.
Have a great time on the road.
Right.
Yeah, I've got to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Maybe I'll come out for SOS night. That's the night.
Definitely, that's the night to come.
Yeah. I can see both of you guys.
Gets both of us in one night.
There we go.
And guess what? An SOS night brings out all the people too. So
that is one thing. When I was there in 2021, it was the most jammed I've ever seen a speedway in my life. It was like insane.
It was. There's energy, man. When it's like that, it's awesome. It's awesome. So stop by the holler when you're there.
All right, Johnny. We're throwing you in the bed of the truck.
Yeah, we're doing it.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. And the checkered is out on another episode of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show presented by Ohsweken Speedway and Bicknell Racing Products. Like what you hear, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Connect with us on Facebook at Southern Ontario Dirt Show or find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at SODS_pod. Have a question for the show? Email us, southernontariodirtshow@gmail.com. Thanks for supporting local racing in Southern Ontario, and we'll see you at the track.